we're going to talk about all the shows of 2024 that we did finish
Yeah.
and we did like.
Yeah.
Yes. Guys, we're going to
Yes.
get to the meat and potatoes of the pod. We're going to go into talking about best TV shows of 2024. We have a lot of different picks here in the Google Doc. And some of the shows we're talking about maybe shows that you've seen. And if they're shows you haven't seen, then you should just add them to your watch list because, they may be shows that you'll like. But Maria, I'm going to go ahead, pass it off to you. You can go ahead, let people know your picks, and then we can go
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah. Okay. So I know I'm missing stuff because like so much came out and like I need to keep track of like everything I watched better. But like
Yeah.
the ones that I definitely wanted to like have to mention. The two that I want to mention because they're not getting a second season and I'm really upset about it is The Acolyte,
Yeah.
My Lady Jane,
Mm-hmm.
and Chaos, which is a Netflix show, and I thought that was spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I just like The Acolyte, I think, The Acolyte is a conversation about Star Wars, but like this is what we're talking about with the boys being fun. I think The Acolyte was just fun.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I love Amandla and I love Manny Jacinto. Jay Kwan's in it. Like it's just like the cast was fun, but I just thought it was such a beautiful way to talk about the Force and get into this lore. And I feel like the reason why people didn't like it was because they just didn't get it, or they just didn't want to have fun with Star Wars. When
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, it was clearly a enemies to lovers talking about how you could be seduced by the dark side and showing it through twins. So like I just think The Acolyte's a great show, especially for Star Wars. I remember needing it. Even though I got a lot of my content from Star Wars in the beginning, I had to take a break from Star Wars and a lot of like superhero media for a while because I'm just like I got so tired from these franchises, but The Acolyte brought me back again. So like
Mm-hmm.
that show, if they ever take it off of Disney Plus, I will buy it. I like love that show so much. So special place in my heart. My Lady Jane is also just a fun show like that. Like it's just a fun romance show. It's a Regency drama. It's about like a real life story about like Jane who got beheaded by one of the King Henry, and this is like what if she didn't get beheaded. It's like this
Mm-hmm.
fun show. Again, another romance story of enemies to lovers. We love that. And Chaos was a show about Greek mythology and what it would be like if they still existed today. And they had so much fun with the lore and the mythology of it. And they made really colorful characters that like actually questioned like systems and religion. And it's just again fun show.
Mm-hmm.
So special places in my heart. Best TV shows have to be like Shogun, The Penguin, Baby Reindeer, like, and there's also like reoccurring shows that came back, like Interview with the Vampire season 2 is definitely one of my favorite seasons of this year. I don't know if you watched the show Hacks, but like
I
that was
love
also
hacks.
love. I forgot the Hacks came out this
Oh
year
my
too.
gosh, love
It
it.
was so good. Love this season of Hacks. Um, New shows like Agatha All Along also came out this year. I don't know if it's gonna have a second season, but these are like the shows that like I know I put on my list of like the ones that came out that like stood out to me compared to everything else. Baby Reindeer, I think is just such a good story about like this true. I mean, it's a thriller, but it's also like it shakes you to your core. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it because I know we talked about it last time I was here. Baby Reindeer.
I actually never got around to watch Baby Reindeer because it was just because of the news that kept coming out about the show. It made it
Valid.
feel very messy. And
Yeah.
like whenever you make a show about your real life, I feel like that's something you have to do like carefully. And
Uh-huh.
I don't have anything against the creator or the guy's story or anything like that. But I feel like
Mhm.
if I start watching that show, I'm gonna need to know every piece of information about them.
Valid.
And then I
Yeah.
feel like I'm stalking this man. So it's
Yeah.
like I need to
And
take a step back.
no, that's totally true because I think I watched it way before all the drama came out, and
Hmm.
it was like that came out when I watched it that weekend. It came out, and it definitely like changed me. It just stands out. But there's like so much good TV that also came out. Like a lot more fun stuff is like Fallout, which is adapted by I think a video game. It's
Yeah, it's a
adapted
video
from a
game.
video game. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it has Elle Purnell in it. She like, and I love her. We were like talking about Arcane earlier. Like she just looks like someone that stands out. But like Fallout was really fun too, and
Hmm.
it was just like sci-fi done well. The Penguin is a superhero show from the
Yeah.
Batman universe, but they do like monsters and like the Colin Farrell is just insane. Like
He's
like with
amazing.
his commitment with this, and then like
Yes.
to have Kristen Milotti opposite him was just like genius
Hmm.
because I've been in love with her since like before she was the mother in How I Met Your Mother. Like I love this actress, so like that one stands out. A personal choice of mine is a show called One Day on Netflix. Sorry, there's like a huge list
No,
of
go
shows
for
I
it. Go
can't
for
help
it.
it. This other show called One Day, which is also a romance show. It's based on a book. There was also a movie with Anne Hathaway and I think Jim Sturgis or something, but a South Asian woman played the love interest this time. So obviously it's a special place in my heart. Mm-hmm. But it's basically this like will they, won't they couple, slow burn, and like it follows their life for like I think 15 years on, and they shows like this one day, like how they interact this one, like because it was like I think it was like Saint Something's Day, Saint Smithon's Day, which is like this day, like if it rains, it's supposed to be a good year or a bad year, and that's the day we met. So every year they meet that day. So we see that day every year of their life for 15 years and watch this like it's gorgeous. It's heartbreaking but gorgeous.
That has been on my watch list since it came out, so I have to watch it.
I highly recommend it. I have like such a soft place for the movie, but the book, the show for sure. Mm-hmm. And I think what was the other one that I haven't mentioned? And then Shogun is probably one of the best shows that it also came out too. It's like Game of Thrones, but about the Japanese culture. I can't even explain it without giving it too much away.
I do need to watch that one as well. That's been on my watch list for a minute.
I actually watched it with my dad, which was really fun because I didn't think I don't know. He like I think it's like a historic. I think Shogun is a like adaptation of a book or something that he read. Mm-hmm. So he was just like, "Oh, I watched the original," so he wanted to watch it with me. So he said it committed. But like I know it won a lot of awards this year. The actor I can't remember, but I remembered him from Westworld, so that's why I wanted to watch it. And the actress I know from like this Apple show, like the Monster Universe. Yeah, Pachinko. Yes. Yeah.
Also on my watch list.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was gorgeous. It was such a fun show. Like, I can't even do it justice. So I don't know. This like there's definitely a lot of bad this came out this year, but like it was the good was good.
Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did want to ask you about The Acolyte because I did start watching it, but I dropped off of it and I can't remember why. I think it's because at one point I stopped paying for Disney Plus and I was like, "Oh, I'll bootleg it," and I forgot.
Valid. Yes. I bootlegged it as well. My friends gave me. I didn't want to watch it. And my friend, she was just like, "You gotta watch it, though." She's like, Maria, you have to watch it." Yeah. And so I was watching her because she was doing these weekly podcasts with Watch with Neves. He's a podcaster. He's also does South Asian Muslim content on TikTok, and he does weekly podcasts on shows. So she was doing these weekly podcasts. So I wanted to watch it because I want to support her. So I was watching her podcast, watching her guests on this podcast. I was watching the show for it. But honestly, being a huge fan of Manny Jacinto, and I don't want to say anything. And do you know the reveal?
I don't know the reveal.
Okay,
but
then I'm not
gonna say the reveal because I'll still watch.
It's not. It's worth it. It's so worth it.
Okay,
you just stay. Okay, it took me till episode 3 or 4, which is crazy because like it's only 6 episodes. But trust me.
Okay.
Oh, because I didn't care for it. The first, I don't watch. When I rewatch it, I don't watch the first episode. And actually, yeah, it's episode 3. Actually, yeah, 3 and 4 on.
I just made a note to watch it later, so I'm gonna watch it.
Commit to it. Trust me, and we'll talk after. Yeah, I hope I didn't say anything to spoil it. It's just like, it's just We'll watch it. We'll discuss it later.
Do you think The Acolyte is like a standalone show in the same way that Andor is, where like 100%. You don't have to know about Star Wars to watch it? You can just enjoy 100%. It.
Yeah, okay. And I think that's why so many people didn't like it because the biggest issue was that like, oh, it's not correct in the lore. And it's like it's not about the lore.
It's not, girl.
It's not like and also like lore is also very interpretation to me, and very much like media literacy should be included. Like understanding not everything is about like decades of books and comics and like subreddits that you've read about these like things like again of this make-believe world about space wizards. Yes. Like a lot of it is also just interpretation and understanding of the media that you're watching, and it's just like I think if you have a basic understanding of media literacy, you would recognize that as like you do with contradicting the lore. It never contradicts the lore, but like a lot of fanboys did not take it that way. Yeah. And I still get texts from my Acolyte videos, and I'm just like, wow.
I think with like some Star Wars fans, I feel like they feel so proud that they know so much about Star Wars and like the lore and everything like that. So of course they want TV shows that like measure up to the, the information that they have. But a lot
Yeah.
of people don't interact with like a lot of Star Wars spin-offs because they feel like they don't meet the threshold of information that you have to have before
Exactly.
watching it. Like watching Ahsoka, the Book of Boba Fett, watching The Mandalorian, like
Yeah.
in some way or another, you know, a viewer wants to understand what's going on. Like, who are the Mandalorians? Like, who is
Yeah.
Boba Fett? Like, who
And,
is Ahsoka? And a lot of them
and
didn't watch Clone Wars. A lot of them didn't watch the prequel, so they don't know
yeah.
what's going on.
And I'm someone who understands and appreciates world building, and
Yeah.
I love comic books. I love like knowing so many more details, but I also love not knowing things. Like,
Yeah.
I did mention Arcane because I know we're gonna give Arcane like the special shout out. But I think one of my favorite things about Arcane was I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was asking my friend who kept suggesting it to me. And I'm like, what is the rose curse or whatever? He's like, you're not really supposed to know. And I'm like, I love this. I love that I just don't need to know everything to understand that this is bad. You know, like I think not knowing the lore also makes entering a world better because it's like whenever you're introduced to a new world, you're not going to know it right away. It's just like our life. We don't know everything. We're learning. We're getting used to things. We're existing in the information that is given to us, and then we move forward with it and try to like adapt. And like that's sometimes nice about fantasy worlds and sci-fi. So that's what I liked about Dune as well. And it's like, and a lot of it's like it's supposed to be like, can you understand how these big out of world experiences and stories can also be relatable? And what, because like at the core, it's all still about humanity, right? So and also with the idea that it's going to measure to your lore is actually an impossible like expectation of theirs. And like when they're like, oh, I remember when I was younger and I wanted every adaptation to be like the book, like for Harry Potter. And I'm like, that was an insane ask. Like what was I thinking, you know? But like, you know, I was a child then.
Yeah.
An adult.
I feel like as an adult, I still feel that way, but not in the way where like it has to be exactly right. But like, I want you to be able, like with Dune, because the books are so complex and just massive in general. The great thing about Villeneuve is that he knows how to like streamline the plot.
Exactly.
Like he'll take the important details. He's like, we cut this out, we cut this out, we put this in, and then just kind of like put it all together. And then he's able to package the story of Dune into a 2-hour film. And 2 hours is long, but like it's not that long when you're actually like immersed in the story and watching it fully. And I think that he does a really good job in like making sure we understand what's going on, we understand things, at least at baseline level. That way we can watch the movie and just like kind of get like, this is a political thriller, this kid is like the chosen one, like he's important,
exactly,
these sand people, like the blue eyes, all this stuff, like you have to keep in mind what's going on here, you know?
Yeah, you're right that he's so good at world building and like adding it without needing to hold your hand. He's so it's like it doesn't have to be expositional either. And I think that's another issue with stuff like Star Wars, maybe because it's like the Disney component of it or like Netflix component, but like there's so much exposition that I feel like lore ends up having to be accurate too whenever you're world building within these shows too sometimes. But like Dune is such a good example. Dune, Arcane are good examples of like you can show and that will be enough for building the world and its accuracy with the lore. So
right. I did notice you also put Nobody Wants This.
Oh yeah. Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's just like a fun Kristen Bell like show. I thought it was really fun, and like I had a lot of fun with it. Again, like I added a lot of the fun shows that just like stood out to me last year. It was like it kind of took me by surprise because I felt like it would be like a run of the mill rom-com show, and I always just feel like there should be more rom-com shows. But it was actually really refreshing. It was actually really funny. The characters were actually like more than stereotypes of what you would expect from a rom-com character. Yeah, and it was definitely light and fluffy, but it was fun. And I think I also added shows that like I feel like it wasn't just like me and my like niche like TikTokers that love this show. Like these were shows that I felt like everyone watched, everyone loved. It had mass appeal. Like even the Acolyte, it reached like audiences that I don't think would have ever watched Star Wars, and I think that says a lot. Same with Agatha all along. Like I haven't watched the MCU show in so long. So many of us haven't, but like I didn't even want to watch an MCU show to be honest with you. But like I ended up finding a pirated version of Agatha all along as well because I'm just like this show seems fun. It's scary. It's creepy. It's Halloween. I want to watch it. So like Nobody Wants This is on there too because I'm like, it was just another fun show that like was refreshing. And this time of everyone trying to be accurate with lore or be like change things and change our minds and be political. So
Yeah, I actually did start watching Nobody Wants This. I think I just started watching it on a whim because I needed
yeah,
something in the background to like fold laundry to.
exactly.
And I think I did like it. I think I liked parts of it. I did
Yeah,
not finish it. I don't know why I did finish it, but like
yeah,
I think Kristen Bell is a lot of fun. Obviously, I loved her in The Good Place. I love Veronica Mars. I love everything she does.
yeah.
And Adam Brody, he is like the heartthrob that's always been the heartthrob. But I
Exactly.
don't think he's always got the chance to like really shine,
Yeah, yeah.
in a lot of his roles. Like the last role I remember him in was Ready or Not,
I
and
was
like he was like kind of a
I
good guy in that, but like
I love his career. I would be honest with you. Adam
yes,
Brody's career is something I'm low key obsessed with because I know he started out as like Seth from like the OC, and he's been that like skinny, cute but like nerdy archetype that was the romantic interest. But he's also plays douchey so well,
mm,
and like I remember
Jennifer's
that
Body.
Jennifer's Body. What was it? Promising Young Girl, Female.
Oh, Promising Young Woman,
Promising
right?
Young Woman.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah,
was. Yeah,
yeah,
my
yeah.
bad. I was like, I know it's something Promising Young, but I was like, yeah, those. I think he's like so good because he's so unassuming. So I just like I love that he's so polar opposite. Either you can be like super like his role in Nobody Wants This is like perfect love interest, but then there's Jennifer's Body that exists too, and I love. And Ready or Not is also great. Like I always think of that image of Adam Brody. I'm like, I love his career. I love that he does this.
Yeah. I also like the fact that he was playing a rabbi in the show, and I felt like that was really interesting because like there are times where I don't know if this is like something that happens often in romantic movies or shows, but like having partners of different religious beliefs is an interesting thing to play on. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I also think that like people like Jewish faith, Jewish people, they're not really like that explored in media that often. And if they
yeah.
are, they're just kind of like there. But it's like every Jewish guy has to look like Andy Samberg, and every Jewish girl has to
That's
look like
just,
Zoe Deschanel.
yeah.
So Adam Brody, like, of course, he kind of like fits that, like, I guess, like more attractive Andy Samberg, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
But like, he's a rabbi. You learn about the Jewish faith. You learn about Jewish people. You understand like their traditions and how they are. And I think that I don't know the actor's name, but the guy from Veep,
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
he was so funny in this show. He was so
We
funny in
and
Veep.
you know that I watched Veep for the first time this year
Hmm.
too, because like we were talking about it, and like I had just watched Veep too, so when I saw him, I'm like, oh my god, it's Jonah.
Yes, yes, girl, yes.
Whenever I see Jonah, so and as a Muslim who has discussed conversion personally with family, with friends, and
Yeah.
the seen the conversion process in my family because I have like my family's more progressive. We've had non-Muslims in our family, married into our family. That conversation in the show definitely hit home because I'm just like, you never see that in a rom-com about
Yes.
having that. And as someone who's had to have that awkward conversation, I'm just like, I feel so represented.
Hmm.
And I'm like, because no one talks about conversion. Like, I think Sex and the City, they talk about like Charlotte converting,
Hmm.
but she was also didn't have to. So like, I think it was really like refreshing because I really feel like rom-coms, such small things can affect love, and it's just like, but like that's enough. Like you don't have to be. It doesn't have to be out of this world. Like you can be two like people that are they had natural chemistry. They were figuring out a relationship. I really love that they were in their mid-30s because I feel
Hmm.
like you never see that without making the girl really desperate or something or like a stereotype. And or the guy like a work in progress. Like there's always just some sort of like there's always just something like bad about like being 30 and single, right? They avoided that
Yeah.
completely. And they talked about the religion faith. And I really appreciate that and really like the Jewish aspect of it.
Hmm.
I don't know. So I guess it just stuck personally to me a lot as a 30-year-old Muslim. Like I just like, yeah, this is my life in a way. So
Yes.
yeah.
I definitely relate to that as well because
Yep.
like I'm Christian and I'm pretty devout, but when it comes to like
Yep.
dating, because like oh my gosh, I feel like I don't know if other people are like this, but I feel like in a lot of churches that I go to, sorry, I thought somebody was about to walk in my room, but anytime I talk to other people who go to church in my age, dating is like the only conversation grown-ups want to talk to you about. It's dating and
Yeah.
it's work. And that's not really something that's like a priority for me, but like I
Yeah.
know that like in any conversation I would have with like someone I would be dating, it would be like, so like, do you believe in God? Because like
Yeah.
that's like a pretty big thing for me. And
Yeah.
romance films are meant to be like fluffy, cushy, easy to watch, relaxing. Having
Yeah.
a conversation with somebody that you want to date about like their beliefs and their faith can be a bit touchy and can be
Mhm.
kind of difficult, especially like where people are, like depending on like if it's different faiths or if it's like the same one. Is like, okay, but
Mhm.
how devout are you? Because like
Yeah.
you could be someone who's very devout and they're just kind of like, oh well, I mean, I go to my place of worship, whenever
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
supposed to. And it's like, and then outside of that, then what
Yeah,
else are
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And I feel like they walk that line because you're right, because it is a touchy subject, and you want a romance to be light.
yeah,
But I think they walked it really well.
mm-hmm.
Again, when you finish it, let me know what you think of it. Of course, like I said, it's very shallow. It's very superficial. They don't go into it really deeply. There's definitely qualms about the show. It's not a perfect show by any means. But yeah, like I was just like, it was just refreshing. Sometimes I think shows can be fun.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And personally, like, of course, like as a Good Place lover, Darcy Carden is in it. Like, I was just like, this is. I'm gonna shout out my people.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna what.
I would like to see more romance or like more like romance media that tackles like different faiths because the only the only show that comes to mind when I think about like someone who's Muslim and like experiences romance is Rami, and I feel like that show is. I mean, like there's romance in there, but like from what I've seen, it's like,
Yeah,
ooh,
Robbie.
girl.
I have a lot of comments. We could talk about Robbie later. I
We
just
don't
remember
have to
this
talk
show.
about that.
Yeah, Robbie's
We
hot.
don't have to talk. It's one of those things where it's kind of like because it's the first or like it's one of the ones
Yeah,
that stand out. People feel like you can't really criticize it. You kind of have to like give it
yeah.
grace, but like
I criticize it as a Muslim woman.
yeah,
And the show is very male.
uh,
That's it. It's very
yeah,
man
yeah, 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 yeah,
perspective.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
just remembered another show. I was just like, I know if you're going Has Been Hotel.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch that because I was
That's
on
fine.
Tumblr for a long time.
Yeah,
And
I
when
was
I
just
saw
like,
the
it
creator
was
of
a
the show,
very
I was like, oh
divisive
girl, I know who
show.
you are.
Yeah,
I
it's a
clocked your
very
tea.
divisive show, but it was
Yes.
fun. It was an animated musical, and it's also
Mm-hmm.
about being a good. I was like, I know I watched a religious show, and I'm like, I know I watched one, and it's about heaven. It's about reforming in hell, and it was fun, and it was like Stephanie Beats from like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is
Oh
voicing in it.
yes, love
Yeah, but
her.
I really like that the voice actors are all like from Broadway or like actual singers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Chris Pratt, you
Oh my
know?
gosh. Yes, people with talent. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. So it was such a fun show. So that also stood out. Like that was also like I think maybe early on in the year too, and like it got overlooked because it's definitely not. But I think it has a second season coming out, and I'm
Hmm.
really excited for it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of good shows actually. Now I think about it, but
And
the animation is gorgeous too.
mhm.
It's really like unique. It's another world again, and like another take on angels and demons and what they would look like and what they're and of course obviously the people in hell are bad, so
Yeah.
like they have definitely there's those story lines are super like interesting in how they created those people, so it's very unique for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
did want to ask, like, because I actually hadn't watched Agatha all along quite yet.
Yeah.
Mainly, but I am excited because it's on my watch list and I will be, sailing the high seas to watch it
Hmm.
because Joe Locke, he's one of my favorite young actors
Yeah.
because he's on
Yeah.
Heartstopper, and I
Yeah.
saw he
And
got
this is not
casted in
this
this.
year
And it's like,
too, right?
yes,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my gosh, yes. I'm
yeah. Yeah.
rewatching Heartstopper right now so I can watch
Okay.
season 3 because
Uh-huh.
I let that fall behind too much. And once I
Yeah,
start rewatching
yeah,
season 1,
I haven't seen Heartstopper. I'm so sorry, but
you
I
have to
know I need to
watch
watch.
it.
I know I need to
It's
watch it.
the
I don't watch
sweetest
it.
little thing ever. It's so
Yeah.
cute.
Oh,
When I started
okay.
rewatching season 1 and I got to like a certain episode, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. I was like, why did I put this off
Really?
for
I
so
was looking
long?
at young, it's like Young Love and stuff. Like I thought I was maybe too old to watch it,
No,
but
girl.
yeah.
No,
Okay.
girl.
Okay.
If you like it, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Perfect.
Sometimes when I watch TV shows, I'm like, oh yeah, this is not for me. I'm not the target audience. But
Yeah.
sometimes I
Yeah.
watch them and I'm like, this is the younger self inside
Oh
me.
yeah.
She's
Yeah.
living.
I know. I mean, I watched Ginny in Georgia, so I'm like, I can watch anything probably then.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
isn't Ginny in Georgia kind of messy?
Oh, Ginny in Georgia is terrible. But I watch everything. I watch it. I hate watch it like crazy. Someone told me it's like Gilmore Girls. It's nothing
It's
like
not like
Gilmore
Girls
at all. And I was like, who told me it was?
We do like this.
I don't know.
You used to use them for a check.
It's probably in the laundry room.
No.
I don't have it anymore.
Why you put them when you take it off from your check?
Mommy, I am in a meeting. I am on a call. You see right here. Mommy, you have to leave. Mommy. Mommy, those are clean clothes. Those are my clothes. Mommy. I'm so sorry.
No worries. It's good.
I'm gonna have to edit all that out. Oh my god.
No, wait.
She
You need to go.
She just
Yeah.
walks in and walks out. She just
Look, I love my parents too. I completely get it. That's what I was like. I think they were calling me earlier. That's what just like they were just knocking.
Mhm.
They were just doing housework at 9:00 at night on a Sunday. So I get it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I did want to ask. There was one I did want to ask about. Oh yeah, Chaos, because that's one show that I have been wanting to watch. Like ever since it was announced, I
Yeah.
immediately put it on my watch list because one of the actresses who are in the show, she was in another show I watched called The Prodigal Son, and then I think
Oh.
Billie Piper is in the show as well, right?
I think so, maybe. Actually, the cast is really stacked, but I don't remember who everyone is, to be honest with you, because I can't remember names. I know the person from Doctor Who is in it.
Yes, Billie Piper.
That's who it is.
Yeah.
I know the name, but yeah, Billie Piper's in it. Not enough,
Mm.
but she's in it.
She's in
It's
there.
like-
She's there.
yeah. She's a great
Okay.
character. She. Are you familiar with Greek mythology?
A little bit.
So she's Cassandra, like the seer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cool. And so I really love about Chaos is like it's so adapt. Like it's very like okay, you have Cassandra who is basically a fortune teller. Like she's a seer, right? She can tell. She tells premonitions. She tells the future. But it's like imagine what that person would be like in real life, right here.
Mhm.
Like if we ever met that, we would think they were schizophrenic. So like they just adapted so perfectly into like what that person would actually be like in real life. And like Zeus is very accurate. Let's put it that way. Hades and Persephone are. I guess as someone who loves Greek mythology secretly, I just thought it was like how I imagined. Like I just feel like they were normal people and like normal like gods and like what they would really like if they got power hungry. How these stories would these other interpretations of these stories. So I personally really liked it. I'm very, very, very upset that we don't have a second season though.
Mhm.
So like I don't know if I want to tell you to watch it and then the story go nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like it ended on a huge cliffhanger, but the thing is like you want to keep watching this world and you want to keep
Yeah.
watching the story because they did kind of build a story, right? So you want to know the follow-up. So I'm very upset they got no season 2. They got canceled. So
Yeah, I feel like that's a grievance I have with a lot of shows that I've watched on Netflix.
yep,
but
I agree. I understand.
I have to go check out Chaos.
I
definitely gonna.
I actually recommend it a lot.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's already on my list, so I'll just make sure to check it out when I finish Heartstopper.
Yeah.
That'll be next.